It's about 4 years ago we got a call that some people had found some fossils in Lake Waccamaw. So we drove down and looked at the fossils. A lot of it was, there were some little shark's teeth, there were some pieces of bone, but they also had a beautiful ear bone. And these are very important because there's a lot of diagnostic information in the whale ear bones, in their shape, and you can actually tell what type of whale. And they found this, and they said there were a lot more bones down there. So we went out to look at the site. The lake was down quite a bit, so we could sort of walk out just in hip waders and look at this site. And we could see that there were large bones stretched there. We could make out that they looked very skullish from what I could see. They were in about 2 feet of water, which makes it very difficult to excavate because you really can't get down there and work because your head would be underwater. So we thought of all different types of methods, but we finally decided on using the North Carolina Division of Underwater Archaeology. They were happy to try something new, so they came out, looked at the site, and started working. Now, the first thing they said is, well, how do we do this? We've never dug up fossils or excavated fossils before. In fact, I had the same problem. I've never really excavated fossils underwater either. So we were sort of going back and forth, figuring what mainly I bought was a big roll of heavy aluminum foil, which works very good on nice dry land. You can wrap it around the fossil very good and makes a nice tight seal, but underwater it's trying to maneuver a giant sheet of aluminum foil through the water, get it around the bone and stick it. Basically, if I can go back a little bit, Lake Waccamaw has a limestone bottom to it. So that's where the fossil was basically eroding out of this limestone bottom. So it was a nice hard matrix. It wasn't mud. So they were actually able to use some picks, hand picks, and some other tools to basically pry under that limestone and then pull up big sections of the skull bones. The bones came up in big enough sections that when we got them back to the lab, it was not a real hard problem to actually assemble this back together again. You know, one of the big bones that we originally saw and that we had the best part was actually the back part of the skull, which is very diagnostic, has a lot of interesting features to it. That came up as one nice piece. After we got it back, I looked at it. It looked like a right whale, some type of right whale. And I contacted Dr. Alton Dooley of the Virginia Museum of Natural History. He came down and looked at it. He confirmed that it was definitely a right whale. He had looked at the fossil record of right whales. It's not very extensive. This turned out to be one of the better preserved right whale specimen skulls from this time period, being about 2 to 3 million years old. This specimen came from Lake Waccamaw, and it was decided when we got it, the park was very much interested in having it go on display at their visitor center. And we agreed upon this, even though the specimen remains a North Carolina State Museum of Natural Sciences specimen. It is on long-term loan to the Lake Waccamaw State Park. Well, the first part was, well, how do you get a whale skeleton that has basically 6-foot jaws and very fragile bones down to Lake Waccamaw? And we used a number of crates. A lot of these crates we came by with a lot of the new equipment that came from the Nature Research Center, and we repackaged each of these bones in these crates, loaded them up onto a truck. We delivered them to Lake Waccamaw so that and put them into their new home, a beautiful case that was specifically designed for this specimen.